Shalom again.
Shalom, shalom.
Alright. This is ISUPK Trinidad and Tobago again under Commanding General Yahana and Prison Officer Swap
Peace and
Yara.
Officer Mathquayak.
We send Officer Chef.
Right, so again, we here, on a Thursday, right, to bring out, the importance of everything that is taking place around us, the reminders to brothers and sisters, just like we were reminded as well, in times like when I say feast days or you would say high holidays, come about, what we should keep that would be pleasing in the sight of the Lord, and the as you say, the customs of the heathen, what we should not keep that would be unpleasing, or the Lord will be displeased about it by us keeping it. So again, we're here tonight, right, bringing this reminder to our brothers and sisters, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, the children of Jacob, this family, this house. The importance of these reminders, is to understand where we are at right now, and where we would should be looking to position or bring ourselves back, to have favor in the sight of the Lord, and that the Lord deliver us out of the current condition that we face daily. Right? So again, just a reminder for brothers and sisters, right? Our school location, number 1 Morris Street, Point 14. Check us out. We have classes, during the week, right? From 7 p.m. To 9 p.m. Come down to the school, right? Monday through Saturday, right? Again, we have classes, where we will be joining again some of the generals,
right,
captains, would come on a Wednesday and on a Thursday, live stream, at the school, right? So again, come on down to the school, right? Again, just a reminder, the Lord 57th annual Passover, right? April 4th, right? Houston, Texas is the place to be, right? Again, brothers and sisters, 17 years and over, right? The Passover fee is $200, right? That would be 200, in the currency where the event is being kept, which is
right,
in Houston, Texas, right? So that is just a reminder for brothers and sisters, right? So anything?
Yeah, can sir. Again, the number to call 342-0081-466-5391 or 771-1791.
Right. So what we looking?
Well,
What we looking like?
today's D-Day.
Yeah. All right.
You understand? Christmas. And as we have been out a couple of weeks before, you understand that the prophets of old showed us whereby we're not supposed to be celebrating Christmas.
Right.
The scriptures tell us, learn not the way of the heathen.
Right.
You understand? And what is equally important, as we always say, is that as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have those that say or claim that they teach the Bible, you understand, which is the religious leaders, religion. But again, they're not teaching us the things that is in that book.
Right.
You understand? As the scriptures have said, the pastors, they have become brutish.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
When you look up the meaning of the word brutish, which we will touch on here as well,
Right.
you understand? You're seeing that brutish is absence, obsessed with dominance. And
Right.
this is how the religious leaders are. They want to be dominant over the church,
Right.
dominant over people. They don't want to actually show them how they could be free.
Right.
You understand? As the scripture says, just paraphrasing, you was going to be free indeed.
Right.
You understand what I'm showing you? When you look at, going back to the meaning of brutish again, you're seeing they lacking restraint, proud of ignorance. And this is what the religious leaders are. They are ignorant towards knowing the Bible.
Right.
You understand? Because what we fail to realize is that we have been taught things from the oppressor. You understand? We have been taught this book from the oppressor, not our people.
Right.
You understand? But when you actually go into the Bible being taught by yours, you understand who the Bible belongs to, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you're going to realize that it's actually something totally different from what these religious leaders push on our people from generation to generation. You understand? So we are going to the book called the Bible, you understand? And actually show different scriptures again concerning Christmas. We're going to touch a little bit on the history as we was talking about.
Right.
You understand? In the book of Judges,
Right.
you understand? Because of course the Lord say we should not have no other gods but him.
Right.
You understand? And our people being ignorant or not knowing that Christmas is after another God. You understand? Even leading up to the New Year's
Right.
also is after another God.
Right.
You understand? Many of our people don't understand that this person that they call Santa Claus, you understand, this big fat man coming down through the chimney and all these different things. These things was given to us to control us. You understand? These things is not for our people. Actually, real Saint Nick is a black man.
Right.
You understand? Doing charitable work. And as we were saying, I think it was last week or week before, whereby they use something called syncretism. You understand? To join
Right.
things from different religion or different events into biblical culture and feed it to our people. You understand? And we are being fed the wrong things.
Right.
You understand? So,
Right.
so like yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah, and just we're bringing out the, we was just on the streets in Port of Spain,
Right.
a week from now, and interacting with the people, and asking again the same basic question, just like we were when we were partaking and patronating and joining, as you say, these customs,
Right.
right, and being prior, or the Lord, bringing us, to hear this out of the mouths of righteous black men,
Right.
whereby we could have asked these questions, and they could have proved it, in our records, because again the scriptures say prove all things. So when we tell brothers, hey, don't take our word for it, let me go inside that day and especially hear it out of the mouth of your own people, and the conversation that we speak, or forefathers, were taught.
Right.
It's the same for instructions that was passed down, and this is the importance of it,
Right.
of us, really actually learning this, and coming back to our heritage, coming back to our culture, and as we say, to break down, just as it was told to us, or told to our forefathers, which was passed down to, as you say, teachers say, sons,
Correct.
to as you say, to break down their images, to break down their growth, to destroy, all these false teachings, all these false doctrines, and this being one of it, especially a day like today,
Right.
because now again, when we, just a sidebar, when we look at what's happening in the news, you see families, in mourning,
Correct. Absolutely correct.
imagine, as we say, young, as we say, teenagers, being, unalive.
Right.
When today was supposed to be a day hour, where as you say, the heathen them define or make it known that today is supposed to be the birth of Christ.
Right.
We're supposed to be celebrating that, but again, knowing the truth and coming out, from the mindset of religion, coming out from the mindset of culture of these other people is like, an eye opener, and it should be to our people.
Right.
Right? It should be to this family, and again the history, that you're going to go in or going to bring out is some that we were prior to in coming into the truth, and being able and with the opportunity to sit down under righteous black men, and they explaining to us that they were in that, as we say, once in that. So you see, that same way of being grown up or being brought up in a society and following after the customs of the heathen, we could make that change.
Right.
Christ, or King Yahweh in Hebrew, he said that. He said, "Be ye perfect, even as I am perfect." He strived towards that perfection and making that change. So we could make that change. If we say we following who? We say following Christ.
Right.
Say following, the Most High God. Say following His Son. Now we can make that strive towards that perfection by walking and keeping these instructions. Right?
Cancel like I say for me.
Yeah.
And just to piggyback on what you're saying, we was on the streets and reacting, you know what I mean? If people should find they should celebrate Christmas, if Christmas is something to be celebrated, most people, they understand what's saying, yeah. Because in ignorance, they don't understand it's something not supposed to be celebrated. You understand? Some might say, you know, nah, it's not to be celebrated because it is a pagan holiday.
Right.
You understand? But what we have to realize is the people that supposed to be teaching us the Bible, teaching us this book, they supposed to be the ones to make sure that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, they understand that all these man-made traditions, they are pagan.
Right.
You understand? But again, integration into these other races is what made us now, you understand, fall victim to their culture and their ways.
Right.
You understand? Because of course the Lord gave us our ways. You understand? Give us our culture, our traditions. Like we just come out of the feast of Hanukkah.
Right.
You understand? Most of our people, they don't understand what is Hanukkah.
Right.
We're going into the feast of Purim.
Right.
After the feast of Purim, we have the Lord's Passover. All these things is in the Bible
Right.
that we as a people supposed to be celebrated. These things is like family days.
Right.
One thing, as you always say when you come, is that we are family. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. These days is where family supposed to gather together. Not all races and all nations.
Right.
You understand? These things the Lord give us to the 12 tribes is just for family. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So, like, yeah.
You know, as you say, we are priests and officers shine the building. You know, anything to say on what we're talking about?
Yeah, and when you check out, you know, as we are saying that, you know, we as younger and things like that, when it come now, we come in here, speaking now, right, and you know, the teachers now, right, and we doing the same. So now when you watch back these things and them, right, it's like the oppressor itself telling we what day to buy gift for each children and
Right.
thing, right? They're telling me what day to clean the house and thing, right? They're telling me what day when to have good sex with your wife, and all these things happening for the whole Christmas when you again you have dominion over your family and your household.
Right.
The most I get that, but you ain't having dominion, that the oppressor having dominion and telling you, hey, you clean your house December here. You go and get gift for your children December here. You go and have good sex with your wife for December here. And after that back again, you just had to wait a whole cycle back again every year to do back the same thing over. And it's really business.
Right.
The whole oppressor thing about business. Christmas is about business.
Right.
Right. And you know, yes, just like what Sasha mentioned in there now you want to understand why homes are being broken, especially like days like this when you do get a gift,
Right.
because of that intercourse that you have, or as you say, that sexual intercourse that you move away from your husband, because now as women, you know, that is not being brought up, they wouldn't understand that what is marriage, and I think we bring that out.
Yeah.
You know, that sex
Earlier
is
on,
marriage.
Karan
Sex is marriage.
Karan.
So now around this time, it's like, you know, you're just keeping to like a pretense or false pretense, not knowing you going out now, and as you say, homes is being broken, especially around this time. So again, you know, it's important for us, you know, to understand and again the history that they're going to bring out, brothers and sisters, as you say, should take note. As you say, your pen and your book,
Right.
and you know, take notes, right?
Can. Right, we're going to talk about 3 things in particular. We're going to touch on Krampus, you understand, which is a pagan god. We're going to touch on Janus, you understand, being the god of New Year's, you understand, which we're going to go into as well. But you could always do your deeper research, and you're going to see that what we are speaking about here, it is actually true.
Right.
You understand? And we're going to touch a little bit about Saint Nick. You understand? And how the cross Saint Nick, that black man, being that charitable person, looking out for children and poor families, how they tie it in to this fat guy, you understand, wearing a red suit coming on a chimney.
Right.
You understand? To confuse our people and keep us, just as the brothers bringing out, you understand, keep us being a servant to them. You understand? Because that whole thing about Santa Claus is just about business, right? So we're going to go into a little bit about the history of Krampus, and then we'll go on Janus, right? So Krampus. Krampus comes from Germanic and Alpine pagan traditions, Austria, Bavaria, Slovenia. His name likely comes from Krampen, claw. He was half goat, half demon horned, hairy, and chains and bells, not festive, you understand? Before Christianity absorbed local religions, winter festivals honored nature spirits, death, and judgment. Krampus was tied to these rites, especially the wild hunt, a ghostly procession of spirits that swept through winter skies. right? What was his role? Krampus was the punisher. Good children were rewarded. You understand? Bad children were beaten, chained, dragged away, or eaten. And days will be coming where you're talking about Santa being, he looking for the child at good or bad.
Right.
You understand? You could see in whereby these coming from old pagan customs, old pagan traditions.
You're breaking down the like children who I'll say behave naughty.
Right.
They didn't get nothing this morning.
You understand? You're going to go into it a little more as you're going down. You understand? When Christianity moved to Europe, it couldn't erase pagan beliefs, so it rebranded them. You understand? Just like how we have the scene with the mother and child, Mary and baby Jesus. You understand? They always get that scenery when coming to Christmas time. They're not giving you the scenes of when Christ healed the sick. You understand? When he raised the dead. And all these different things. You understand? Not knowing that imagery of that baby Jesus and the Virgin Mary, as they say. You understand? It ties back to Nimrod and his mother.
Right.
You understand? The mother and child.
Right.
You understand? When you do the history of Nimrod, you realize that he married his own mother. His mother died, and she come up with her own philosophy to make people follow her and follow Nimrod.
Right.
You understand? Which goes back to the Christmas tree and all these things as we were speaking about last week or week before.
Yeah, and so like
Go ahead.
like how you bring that out there, and this is why we have laws
Right.
to govern us.
Mhm.
So imagine you as a mother giving birth to a child, go let that same child come back onto you,
Right.
just like Sasha was bringing out. It goes to show. You will tell brothers and sisters this, or this house this, and they say, but wait now, that's not right.
Right.
From the time you say that, you actually know that I know who you is. You're not from that family, you're not from that nation. It shows you that this is a total different people.
Right.
A total different, spirit or vibe from yours. Because you know within yourself that's not right.
Right.
It's not right. So if you know that not right now, now you should do what? Just like what we did. We seek out the truth.
Right.
To know more. This is why we're bringing out the truth. So brothers and sisters could seek it out, and just as I say, do some more research.
Do some more research.
Some more
You understand? So we're going to go in a little bit again. So the same when Christianity moved to Europe, it couldn't erase pagan beliefs, so it rebranded them. St. Nicholas was the one to reward, Krampus was the one to punish. You understand? They were paired together on December 5th. The night of judgment before St. Nicholas Day. St. Nicholas Day was December 6th. You understand? And you're going to see how it was moved from that time to December 25th. You understand? The church tried banning Krampus multiple times. They say it was too demonic. But the people would not let him go. Who wouldn't let him go? The people. You understand? Eventually he was domesticated, turned into folklore, then later commercialized. What's the bigger picture? The bigger picture is that Christmas was never originally Christian. You understand? What makes that happen? Krampus. Krampus makes you to know that Christmas, it was never Christian. Pagan winter rituals were absorbed, sanitized, and sold. You understand? So it was absorbed into the Christianity, all these pagan customs, refurbished, and then given back to the people. That is where we're coming back again. Look up the word called syncretism.
Right. And so like
Go ahead.
You draw reference to a key point and a word, because a lot of us, grew up hearing a lot of folk laws.
Right.
We know that these are just stories. So
Okay.
imagine as you're reading the history, and they're actually telling, hey, this was just folklore. So what I'm telling you about Christmas,
Right.
is just a story
Okay.
that somebody sit down, as you say, and not just somebody, the people them that think about business, just like any businessman would do, to come up with some strategy to push his his equipment or his shop
Right.
to promote it. He would come up with ways and sit down and converse with let me say a group or more than one to see how we could do business on this day.
Right.
What we could come up with to have our goods pushed out. And this was one of the days
Right.
that they use to promote and push their goods to the wider community and to get the support of one people would really have a total impact on
Of
everybody.
course.
Because this one people who they know serving the Lord, as long as they get them on board, everyone else would get on
Right.
board. Because now you know what this one people would do? What we're doing right now today. We would come and talk against it.
Right.
Just like we were taught, this is not a time to worship this
These other
day.
gods.
These other gods.
Correct.
So what would happen now? They would always, you know, I will say, come up against, you know, the men that speak
Right.
against this. And again, now is a glorious time,
Right.
especially to be in the truth and, you know, to bring the enlightenment to brothers and sisters and let them know, hey, we were once there.
Right.
And we, as we say, we still here. Because now we living amongst brothers and sisters. We ain't move away. Just like what religion might think, hey, no, I saved.
Mm-hmm.
From what?
Right.
You're still living amongst brothers and sisters daily.
Correct.
You're still interacting with brothers
Still
and
under
sisters.
servitude to the oppressor.
Just
Correct.
like, you know, again, just like where Paul was saying, you know, he be a servant, I believe, unto the Gentiles, because
Right.
he's a Gentile.
Right.
He living amongst brothers and sisters. He understand that, hey, to make that change or that transition is to be the example.
Right.
In, you know, telling people, or just like he was taught this truth, he would do it.
Nice.
And he not, as we say, separating himself from, you know, like, hey, what Christianity would do,
Right.
what religion would do. Separate the self from what? The brothers and sisters who facing daily trials.
Right.
Get down, you had to get down there with them.
Right.
You must understand, because now that their cry is not just a cry, innit? It's a cry of oppression. The scripture say oppression make it a what?
Wise man mad.
A wise man mad. You see in this what will happen?
Right.
It will stop your spirit.
Can.
It will stop your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see in the condition of people daily. You know what you're gonna do? You ain't gonna shun them. You go to make that system.
Right.
That will be our food, our clothing drive. Brothers and sisters, because now the men that do this, that's as Christ say, when you was hungry, what you do? He talking about, hey, your people, your family,
Right.
you feed them, you clothe them. Because now you're seeing the cry, you're seeing this time should be a time where we now should really know that, again, just as we say, the feast of dedication, now we seeking, hey, where brothers is, where
Right.
sisters is, give them that aid, give them that help, that assistance that they need. This is what we do.
Right.
We don't take, as we say, your donations or your clothes or your food and just, you know, let me say, use it as a tool to build yourself.
Right.
We use it as a tool to, as we say, to build this family.
Right.
To
Correct.
make this family know that we care about them.
Right.
Because it had men who was there and it had men that care about them. Died, as we say, that was passed down. This is the men that hold this truth, that have a care for this family. And again, Christ or King Yahushai, as I say, brought it best.
Right.
The understanding where we, as we say, we know times like this, this is not the birth of Christ.
Right.
And it clear. It clear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, of course, anybody could challenge it. You understand?
Yeah.
Show where the
Yeah.
birth of Christ is
Yeah.
in the Bible.
Yeah.
You understand? Show us where that
Yeah,
birth is
yeah.
on December 25th.
Yeah.
You understand? Show us where the disciples celebrated Christ's
Yeah.
birthday on December 25th.
Yeah. That is as simple as it is. Yeah.
You
could do that.
understand?
Yeah.
These is the things
Yeah.
that we had to get in we
Yeah.
skull to understand,
Yeah.
hey, something wrong.
Yeah.
You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Yeah. So we're going a bit again, a little piece again on Krampus. You understand? The church needed control. Fair works better than scripture on illiterate populations. So Krampus was chained to Saint Nicholas. One gives gifts, the other beats children, kidnaps them, drags them to hell.
See over that part there.
Can. So Krampus was chained to Saint Nicholas. Remember, Saint Nicholas and Santa is
Right.
two different people, but they
Right.
make Saint Nicholas and Santa as one. You understand? But we're going to that. You understand? So Krampus was chained to Saint Nicholas, one who gives gifts. The other beats children, kidnaps them, drags them to hell.
Right, and you see that part there. This is where we have to understand, as you say, as a child will always be a child.
Right.
A child will always be a child, and you know, treating a child like if is like we say a grown adult.
Right.
Somebody who, as we say, who went through certain things in life and they don't have a fair understanding about it.
Right.
It's like you didn't give that child that opportunity to grow.
Correct.
Because now it's like you supposed to be the nurturer, to nurture that child. Just like say a plant, you plant your seedling and every day you get water, you're nurturing it and as it grows.
Correct. And even as they say in here when they're talking about the child being dragged to hell, you understand? Now if you go around and you have some adults, you ask them where is hell, I tell you it's a place underground.
Yeah.
It's fire, you understand? We don't understand that hell is just a condition. Heaven is a condition. You understand what I'm saying? And young kids, if you understanding that hell is a condition, these things wouldn't get to you. Now you know when what you're telling a child is lies.
Right. Right.
You understand? Again, these are things that the religious leaders supposed to be bringing out and teaching our people so we wouldn't be living in that fear.
That's right.
So when they come with these things that Krampus and who giving gifts and who behave good and who behave naughty, these things will be none and void. These things will be vain. You understand? As the scriptures say in the book of Jeremiah, for the customs of the people are vain.
Right.
You understand? It worth nothing. It makes no sense. You understand what I'm saying? These things is supposed to be known. Right? But we'll continue a bit again and that be tonight. This wasn't accidental. It was psychological conditioning. The church tolerated it because it kept people obedient. You understand? And look at what has happened. When coming from Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, everybody knowing they had to flock where? To the Christian church. They have to flock to that religion.
Right.
What happened Old Years into New Year's? Same drill.
Yeah.
It keeping the people what? Obedient.
Obedient.
You understand? And we thinking that when December 25th reach, is after Christ, is after the birth of Christ. But no way in the Bible, you understand, these religious leaders could prove that.
Right.
That is after the birth of Christ.
Right. So
Again, the number to call 342-0081 466-5391 771-1791.
And just like you brought out, again, call, prove, show we where, this is the time in the Bible, because now we're talking about the Bible, and, everybody does read the Bible, right? Open the book, as we say, and prove it.
Right.
Not as I say, prove it, and show we out of the Bible where, December 25th is the birth of Christ,
Christmas supposed to be
Christmas
celebrated.
supposed to be celebrated.
We're supposed to be
We're
celebrating
supposed
New
to be
Year's.
celebrating New Year's.
You understand?
No problem. As you say, you could open it and prove it.
Right.
Prove it. So, right?
You understand?
So and this should be a reminder to us, right?
Right.
Anything to bring out of Sasha?
When you
We're going to Janus.
when you go into Janus,
Yeah, we're going to touch on Janus, you understand?
Yeah.
Because that is another God concerning New
And
Year's.
how many days are we from that now?
You
So
understand?
it's just like from back to back.
And as I'm now going to say, so like I say, family, they're just keeping you in the move, they're keeping you in the go.
Yeah, you obedient.
Yeah. You understand? As one pagan session done, is our next one. And it becomes so prevalent and it becomes so accustomed to it. It's like, we're supposed to be doing this. You understand what I'm saying? But blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, this Bible was given by your forefathers to you. You understand? And in that book, inside there it have the things that we as a people need to do.
Right.
It have high holy days and feast days that we need to follow, that we need to keep.
Right.
You understand? Just like how long time you go by Big Mama's house, as we go say it, or grandmother's house, and all the cousins and family come together to have a time.
Yeah.
You understand? To eat and drink and enjoy themselves. At that house, nothing going wrong.
Yeah.
Cousin in fighting cousin, brother in fighting brother, family in fighting family. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah? But when it comes to the most high holy days, like for example the Passover, which coming up, You understand? Which is something glorious in the eyes of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see how that family operate and how that family function.
Mm-hmm.
See how the family operates at the Purim. We just had the Feast of Hanukkah.
Yeah.
See how family operate. You understand?
I know no one day celebration.
That is it,
I know
Kanawankan.
one day celebration.
Kanawankan.
The Lord is our Father, and He know when, as we say, when we come together, just like how everybody now go come together on the. So after today, what next?
Back to square one.
When we having, as you say, our high holy days, our feast days, it's 8 days,
Right.
it's 14 days, and I mean, I'm just using that figure.
Right.
It's not just one day. Not just one day. The only, to my recall, the only one day is the day of atonement. That when we atone.
Right.
Between, as you say, with I think is it every year we're supposed to do that.
Supposed to do that, Kanawankan.
Because now it's like we are flicking myself. It's like
Right.
a reminder. It's like a check. Should I say examine yourself what daily
Right.
to see if you're in your faith. Now it have a point in time where we now must afflict ourselves, and that is not for everybody. It is made known that you must be able.
Able-bodied, correct.
Not and we tell brothers, they say this is not for no the sick.
Right.
You know, pregnant women and children.
Right.
Right? Because now, as I say, you have men in that defense.
Right.
Who could stand in that defense.
Mm-hmm.
And these men wouldn't run away and leave the gate open just
Right.
like your religious leaders did.
Right.
And we were exposed to days like these.
Kanawankan.
The enemy crawling. And as I say, the bring it to the point of obedience.
Right.
Imagine you being obedient, you know, to as we say, to a God that the Lord say, as we say, you know, like they say, the ten commandments.
Right.
In that, as we say, in the first 10, which the whole book is commandments. One of them is say, don't worship no other God beside me.
Kanawankan.
Anything that you create and deem or to make a God, like today you create and you make a God.
Right. You're worshiping after another God.
You're worshiping after another God.
Kanawankan. And when they bring it to our attention, they say, nice is the run and say, nice for the children.
Yeah.
You understand? But then what we teaching the children, the same evil thing.
But and like I just say for the children, so now it show you now who's supposed to be getting licks.
You understand?
Which one of them supposed to be getting licks? The
Right.
next one.
Kanawankan.
Because now it's like you now not taking that responsibility.
Right.
Because now you is the defense.
Right.
You is the defense to who? To the children,
Correct.
to the women, to the ones that, as we say, to that structure and that order. But when you step aside now, what you doing now? This is why, again, these customs and these, as we say, these religious, as we say, holidays that they would deem to be, you know, to bring everybody together, is really at their commerce, or really at their business.
Right.
As you say, watch what happened, as you say, at the eve of the business. The work it, as you say, on your 9 to 5 till you tireless.
Right down. Correct.
Till you tireless.
Hmm.
Just to make sure that when they go the just back, the heathen, and they say, yeah, we profit out of them. I watching some stats with banks.
Right.
All kind of 98 point something million
Profit. And profit is after you pay all the bills.
So what I'm showing you,
Right.
and again the majority, as you say, who actually holding up this load is blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
The servants.
We holding up
You
the
understand?
load.
Just as the scriptures say, the Lord tell us that will be sold for bond men and bond women, slave men and slave women. We are the ones serving these other nations. You understand? We upholding their economy. But once we return back to the Lord say, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. We have to come to this realization, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, that we were once a nation. We were once a thriving nation.
Right.
But because of disobedience to the Lord, and clinging on to the religions of all these other races, all these other nations, we drift away from what the Lord gave us. You understand? Now we have an opportunity that we hear in this on the airwaves right now in 2025, Christmas Day, that we have to return to what is in that book. We have to return back to the laws of the Most High. Religious leaders preaching from time to time that the laws of God are done away with. You understand? And Christ himself said in the book of Matthew, think not that I have come to destroy the law. He didn't come to destroy no law or the prophets. He didn't come to destroy the works or the workings of the prophets. You understand? He didn't come to destroy but to fulfill, to show blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians we could keep the law. This is how you and I could fulfill this law. This is how we could keep it. This law is the real deal for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, their constitution, their economic development, their nation development.
That is perfection.
You understand? That is perfection, as I rightfully saying. So we have a duty. Time for we to come out of the Christian church and these religions and return to the Most High. Just as we always did when we was under captivity under all these other nations. There was a time when we returned back to the Lord. You understand? And the Lord gave us that favor, he gave us that deliverance. And right now it's going to happen again, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? So let me touch a little bit on Janus, and then we're going to go into the history now, just as you were saying, right? So we're touching a little bit on Janus quick. Janus, the pagan gatekeeper, hidden inside New Year. Janus is not symbolic, he is not poetic. He is pure Roman paganism, and his fingerprints are all over modern New Year celebrations. Janus was a Roman god, not a mythological side character. He was a state deity tied directly to imperial power, wartime, and control. His defining feature, two faces, was not wisdom. It was duplication, deception, and surveillance. One face looking forward and one looking back. You understand? And of course, when you go into it a little more, you're going to see whereby the face looking back is looking back at the old, and the face looking forward is going into the new. The old year into the new year. You understand? Old things into new things. Old custom into new customs. You understand? Janus ruled beginnings, endings, gates, doors, transitions, time itself. That meaning nothing started without invoking Janus in ancient Rome. Not war, not trade, not politics. You understand? So which means they had Janus in everything. You understand? January is literally named after him. January, Januarius, named in honor of Janus. Every year, when the calendar turns, Rome, god of transition, is invoked by name, whether people know it or not. This was international. Rome believed time itself needed to be spiritually opened by Janus, so the year would not collapse into chaos. This is occult thinking ritualized as time control. You understand? So now we're seeing whereby Janus being this god of old transition or old things into new things, into new beginnings. You understand? This is a pagan god from Rome. We understand that Rome, you understand, when they do the history, they serve a lot of different gods. The Romans had gods for every day of the week, every month of the year. You understand? And again, being that, by doing that syncretism, they started to merge these things into Christian beliefs, meaning biblical beliefs, biblical ways. You understand? And it keep passing on from that time, from generation to generation till today. Now we're going into the New Year, celebrating that New Year's Day, which is just the worship of another god. You understand? A god called Janus. Right,
so again, that's I'll say a little brief history on that, and again, Lord allow, next week, Lord allow, we'll go in a little more into it as well too. Right, so you just want to touch, something that, that even back then, way before, in the time of Judges, where, we see that same, spirit or that same vibe of us, running after the customs and the way of the heathen. Right, so we'll start at, you're going to Judges chapter 2, and we'll start at 2 and 1. Right?
Judges chapter 2 and verse 1. And an angel of the Lord came up from Gilgal to Bochim, and said, I made you to go up out of Egypt, and have brought you unto the land which I swear unto your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you.
right? And we will read on some more, because now this is the time where, you know, the Most High God, you know, had delivered us out of the hand of our enemies,
Right.
out of bondage. And Egypt is just synonymous to the word bondage.
Right.
Because now we were in, as you say, in a land where we were serving other gods of again. And it should be a reminder to us as well, right? Go ahead.
Judges chapter 2 and verse 2. And you shall make no league with the inhabitants of this land.
Because when you go and you read back in Judges 1, and you know, in coming down to the end of the chapter, you would see a lot of our brothers, Ash and Naphtali. You know, the heathen them was amongst us.
Right.
Right? And they being just like today, they're amongst us. But you hear what it say? It say, don't make no what? No league. We were not to make no kind of, as you say, no kind of treaty, or no kind of, as you say, we coming together.
Right.
We were not supposed to do that, because it's like a warning to us. Go ahead.
You shall throw down their altars.
You shall do what?
You shall throw down their altars.
Why are we going to throw down the altars? Go ahead.
But you have not obeyed my voice. Why have you done this?
Right? And in not doing that, it's like the Lord, like our Father, why he didn't do that?
Right.
I tell you, don't make no league with them.
No alliance can.
They come now and they're amongst you now. I tell you, hey, throw down the altars.
Just
But
serve their gods.
we didn't listen.
Right.
Hear what the Lord tell me. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and their God shall be a snare unto you.
What we seeing happen to us
Right.
now is like what we seeing happening with Asha right now. It like on every side, as you see, ships coming in daily.
Can you press her like thorns to them?
Like thorns to them, and you know what happening now, and their gods shall be a snare unto us.
Right.
What is set up in South America?
Right.
In as you see that the whole of South America.
Can.
This depiction of the image, that when you go in our records, it's totally, as you say, it nowhere. Just like we telling, as you say, the organization.
Right.
Prove Christmas in the Bible.
Can.
Prove that this image that the portraying on this day is inside there.
Can.
No way. And here we say it will be a snare unto us. Go ahead.
Judges chapter 2 verse 4. And it came...
We're going on to verse 10?
Yeah, that's one. Let me read this.
Alright, can.
And it came to pass, when the angel of the Lord spake these words unto all the children of Israel, that the people lift up their voice and wept.
Why at that time we lift up your voice and wept? Because now it's like a reminder, and it's like now we see in the truth. Jump to verse 6.
Judges chapter 2 and verse 6. And when Joshua had left the people, when Joshua had let the people go, the children of Israel went every man unto his inheritance to possess the land.
You know why I jumped there? It show you again. We could be angels as well. This was Joshua at that time with the instructions of the Lord speaking to everybody.
Right.
Commanding General Yan has been doing this since 1969. No, I mean 1969. Being raised up in the truth. Listening the men before him bring this out and be able to impart this to younger men coming up underneath, as you say, his watch. Being a gatekeeper towards brothers, being a gatekeeper towards sisters, and raising them up right, to making them know, hey, these customs or these ways, it will be a snare to us, will be a thorn to us. We should come out and bring that reminder and let brothers and sisters know, hey, this is now we custom. Right? Go ahead, verse 7.
Judges chapter 2 and verse 7. And the people served the Lord all the days of Joshua, and all the days of the elders that outlived Joshua, who had seen all the great works of the Lord.
And go ahead, Salakia.
That he did for Israel.
And at that time, we always had a generation that would see the works of the Lord. This
Right.
was one of the generation
Can
that saw all the, as you see, glorious thing that the Lord did
Right.
for us. And that's why we wept. When we hear, when I imagine our brother coming
Right.
and telling, hey, these things, if we don't obey the instructions, this will happen.
This go before us.
This will
Correct.
befall us.
Can.
Just like the scripture say. And this was a reminder to us. Jump to verse 10, Baba Bishop.
Judges chapter 2 and verse 10. And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers, and there arose.
Right. So Joshua, as just the verse before that, after that, say that Joshua come and pass.
Right.
Just like as we say, we live out our time. Because as we say, our the children that coming up, they were trained up in that way.
Right.
The generation around that time, they were trained up in that way. But listen on now. Go
Take
ahead.
it from me to again, Baba Kusha.
Judges chapter 2 and verse 10. And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers.
Right. So all these, I say, all these men that witnessed the works of the Lord, the
Right.
past,
Right.
the die. Right. Go ahead.
And there arose another generation after them,
Go ahead.
which knew not the Lord.
And this should be a reminder to us. And again, we are, let's say, Barakataya Hawaii, Shai for Commanding General Yanana,
For real.
for being in a generation or a time where, you know, the truth was you know, the Lord give us that opportunity to really receive back this truth. To receive back this truth. And hear the thing about it now. That's why it say, hey, let the wheat and the tear grow together. I will
Right.
read just before that. It said, this is why the Lord lead them. There'll be a what? A thorn and a snare.
Right.
Christmas is like a snare,
Of course. Can.
a trap.
Can. That our people, you know, tell them that it has nothing to do with Christ. They'll go down dying, yes, it have to do with Christ. Religious leaders preaching that to the top of the voice. You understand? But when you go in the records, it have nothing to do with Christ. You understand? So there is a snare, as you rightfully say, it is a trap, right? Can.
Yeah. And this again, this is why the warning was, hey, and I tell all to do that.
Right.
This is why again, just as again, let's say no longer with these men hidden in a corner anymore. I say your prophets will hidden in a corner anymore. Because why? They'll come out and they'll sell it. Because why? The Lord always had men who have not bowed or take a knee to any idol or any worship any other God.
Right.
This is where you're witnessing right now. Men that you know, as we walk that walk before, we were reminded and we make that change.
Right.
That change now is, hey, you love your people, you care for your people. As you say, tell as Christ tell Peter, he say, feed my people.
Right.
Feed the flock. Commanding General feeding the flock. As you say, that's schools. Throughout, as you say, North, South, and Central America.
That, so like I say, if I made that nation that is not desired is actually building.
Right.
You understand? Just as rightfully bringing out data, school show the four corners of the earth, the nation of Israel that was once scattered. You understand? It is building back again. The Lord saying in Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. Right. That is happening in the midst of all this chaos right now.
Right.
The Lord is gathering back his people. So like you
right. You could read on a little more about it.
Joshua chapter 2 and verse 10. Which knew not the Lord, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel.
And they didn't know that. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and served Baal.
Right, and everything that we do after that is not of the Lord, it would be what? It would be evil.
Right.
Today, if we, as we say, fool or let our children know that today is the birth of Christ, it did some evil.
Right.
Die the truth.
Can.
Die the truth. You let them know that today it evil. And the scripture say, woe be unto who? The pastors
Right.
that lead this flock of my people astray. Slakia.
Okay.
Anything that...
Yeah, as I was saying, no, you're correct, you're correct. You understand? Because again, as we always say, religious leaders is supposed to be the gatekeepers.
That's right.
You understand? But again, the SUPK under commanding General Ehana, we are here. You understand? We are here for all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We are here to give you truth according to the Bible. You understand? We're going into the Old, we're going into the New Testament. You understand? And show you whereby the prophets of all the things that they did, the things that they fought for, even in the book of Acts. You understand? Paul and the prophets of old, they fought against, you understand, the powers that be against Astaroth and all these different gods.
Right.
To get our people away from that snare and from that trap. You understand? And again, Christmas being a snare, New Year's coming into being a next snare again or that trap. You understand? And if we realize year after year and generation after generation is the same thing.
Right.
So that actually showing you that it is a trap to our people, it is a snare. Because our people now, we don't understand, we don't know, we have our separate days to follow.
That's right.
We have our separate feast days, our separate high holy days. Have we actually tried the Bible? We ain't just outsiders talking, you know what I mean, for the Lord of God and His mercy enjoyed forever.
Yeah.
No, actually trying, actually doing. As the scriptures say in the book of Deuteronomy, to do and observe all these commandments
Right.
that the Lord has given us. You understand? We actually searching it out. The Lord tell us, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. Seek.
That's
We
right.
have to look to see what our forefathers left there for us as a people to follow. Salakia. Continue now.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, we know again.
Verse 13.
I think it's 12. Yeah.
Verse 12. And they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt.
Right. And every time that we go against His instruction, we go against the Lord. This should be a reminder for us. Because now we didn't recognize that we had a greater power who had a care for this family, for this house, not just having a care, but to look over his affairs.
Right.
To look over everything that is going on. You think if as you say, if blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, as you say, are the chosen people of the Lord, was running this, you think this place would have been in chaos?
Yeah.
It would not be in that, right? Anything? I know we up on the time now.
Yeah, see anything blinking.
Yeah.
So like right, again, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the time we chop on we, right?
You will bring out that,
But
say next week,
next week, Lord, we go
yeah,
come back
yeah,
again,
yeah,
you understand?
yeah.
And we will bring out some more history, bring out some more of the Bible to show whereby these holidays are pagan and we as a people not supposed to be celebrating that, you understand? Because just as we just read, these things are just traps and snares to our people.
That's right.
You understand? Things to keep us in bondage, things to keep us under oppression to these other nations. You understand? The question we had to ask ourselves is when we're going to actually build back the Lord's nation, the Lord's people. When we're going to come out, you understand, from actually celebrating these things that just feel good for a moment. You understand? But the Lord tells us the customs of the people are vain. When are we going to come out from these customs, these ways that makes no sense? You understand? And start building back black people, black culture, you understand? And that black nation that we once was. So like, yes, sir.
Any closing remarks of Sasha?
Let's just say something about you, right? You know what these other nations they just think we had to stop think for today and really think for longer times, right? Because if we didn't think so, it's the same thing what they're doing. They're wiping away history. They wipe away Christ being black, now he white. They wipe away New Year's being in April, March.
Right.
What I say is we have to really rule to make sure these things and them stay in place.
Okay.
And we not ruling. This is what's happening right here, right now.
Gone.
Right. So again, just a reminder, school location, number 1 Morris Street, Point 14. You can check us out. We have classes, during the week, Monday through Saturday. Come on down, check us out. Again, go up on our webpage for any event, we have an upcoming food and clothing drive. Right? So stay tuned for that. Right? So again, we just want to say Tawada to the host, right, for hosting us today. Right?
Tawada to the listening audience, as always.
As always. Right?
Yeah, Tawada, shalom.
Right, and with that we say, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
USS UPK, Trinidad and Tobago, under Commanding General Yohana. We will be live on the streets, 91.9 FM.